Hey everyone, this is Prince Watercress, and welcome back to Let's Play WWF Royal Rumble for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Right now we're just working on the Genesis version. Last time we played as Crush and Lex Luger, the Narcissist. Both of them are on both versions. But I will be playing with another Genesis exclusive wrestler, so for now, one player, one-on-one of course. One fall, set the difficulty to 3, and let the computer choose the opponent that I face. For this third episode, I will be doing a rather supernatural theme to go with this episode, because, well, the Genesis roster allowed for me to actually do that. So the first person that I'm going to play as is Papa Shango. And we get to face IRS, who is also a Sega Genesis exclusive. We'll be covering him soon enough, obviously, but for now, let's just concentrate on the whole supernatural deal. There's really not much that I can say about Papa Shango. He was basically on his way out in the first half of 1993. The fans didn't like him. WWF, or WWE, however you want to call it, they wanted to put him in feuds, but they proved unpopular with the fans and they were withdrawn. I know that there was supposed to be a feud planned between Shango and the Ultimate Warrior, complete with Shango throwing up multiple colors and having wild, violent seizures, but that was soon done away with and they had Warrior feud with Savage. He reminds me a lot of the main antagonist from Live or Let Die. Mr. Big, I think his name was. And so he just gives out that really interesting mid-70s voodoo antagonist kind of vibe that character gave. But even then, Papa Shango just wasn't popular with the WWE universe. And by the first half of 1993, he was basically on his way out. He was pretty much gone after King of the Ring that year. And I just ran over IRS. That is amazing. And for the special, get your opponent in a tie-up when your opponent's in the red. Mash buttons. Make sure A and B together, or Z, on a 6-button controller is the last button you press. And you'll do that reverse shoulder breaker. And then you can put your opponent down for the count with a 3-count fall. How about that? I also like the fact that his face paint, at least in the game, pretty much obscures any details that his face would obviously have. And he does have this rather interesting music on his side, but even then that's not really much to write home about. Thankfully, the next person that I'm going to mention in this video is a lot more interesting and exciting and awesome to talk about. And keeping with that supernatural theme, we're obviously going to play as The Undertaker. He's been wowing WWF/WWE audiences since 1990. Still the same guy, but he looks a lot different and he's a lot younger here. He's been around for 25 years as of the time that this video was recorded. And even though he only does one match a year, he's still pretty awesome. He can still go. Of course, it's really taxing on him, and he's been carried out on the stretcher the last 3 matches he's been in. Also, Crush hip tossed me out of the ring. That's pretty powerful considering this is 1993 and Undertaker was like this seemingly unbeatable guy. Well, he was beatable, but he was like super impervious to pain at that time. So you're probably wondering what Undertaker was doing in the first half of 1993. Well, basically the same stuff he had been doing since the end of 1992. He was feuding with Harvey Whippleman. Sometimes he'd face Yokozuna, but other times he would face either Kamala, the Uganda Giant, or the Giant Gonzalez, who was around for a brief time in 1993, Undertaker would face him in WrestleMania 9. It would be the third win in the streak, and the only disqualification win in the streak's entire history. He only won by disqualification because Giant Gonzalez tried to take him out with a little handkerchief covered in chloroform. Ref saw that, Gonzalez got disqualified, and they tried to carry Undertaker out, but he went back in under his own power and finished off Gonzalez, causing him to retreat along with Harvey Whippleman. Also, this grapple in the last one, I really got the hang out of hanging in there and somehow breaking those holds against all odds. Also, if you do a vertical suplex and your opponent hits the ropes, both of you go down. You don't do any damage whatsoever. So I kind of stomped them a couple times in revenge for that. And here's the finisher. Getting a tie-up, keep mashing buttons, and if A and B, or Z on the 6-button controller, is the last one you hit, you will hit the Tombstone Piledriver on your opponent, and you can get the win from there. Almost nobody gets up from that. Almost nobody. But back then, he was pretty much invincible. Nearly. And of course, he has this music too. He's had it for a very long time. And even though it would change a little bit, this would always be the central motif for his entrance theme. Of course, back when he was Biker Taker, you know, dressed up as a biker and driving down the entrance ramp on a motorcycle, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, he was coming to the ring with Kid Rock music playing, but that's a whole other era for a whole other time. Well, at least I can say he's more interesting to talk about compared to Papa Shango. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Join me next time where I show off 2 more wrestlers from the first half of 1993. And talk about what they did during that time, for those of you in a nostalgic mood. So until then, this is Prince Watercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!